Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the weekly show with Aditya. A half an hour show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in association with Dusra.net, the number one website. This is episode 113 on the 16th of September 2019. It wasn't the thunder and lightning of fours and sixes that we saw yesterday, but thunder and lightning which played a spoil sport in the first 20 over match between India and South Africa. Call it a scheduling gaffe or the fact that monsoon has affected each and every part of the country, but as the countdown to World Cup 2020 in the year 2020 begins, one would feel that the best team or the best 17 players which will be selected for the 20 over World Cup will be on pure instinct. And once again, the Dhoni punt debate came into limelight as to whether Dhoni should be part of the team or not. What are his plans? What has he communicated to those who will take the final call, that is the captain, the coach, and the selection committee? The individuals who play this sport or profess their expertise in this sport are divided over whether Dhoni should be available for the 2020 World Cup or not. And once again, his age, form, fitness comes into focus, whether he has those finishing touches or not, or whether at 39 will he have the same finishing power or not. And a few have gone as far as to say that Dhoni is fighting for a place in the side. Well, I disagree with this assessment. Except for the coach, captain, and the selection committee, it is nobody's business to assume whether Dhoni will play or not, that whether he is an asset or a liability. We keep circling around the same old rhetoric about Dhoni, the great, the champion, the individual who won multiple world championships. Why do we presume that only after an official retirement will we give that person a goodbye? If Dhoni isn't available for this series, let's presume that he has taken the break. He said once that for me, cricket is nothing more than a job, and when I feel that I'm done, I'll move on. And yes, Dhoni has moved on. If that individual isn't tweeting, isn't putting anything on those platforms, then we have no right to assume what his future plans are. And whenever, to the satisfaction of some detractors and fans, he decides to call it a day, it will be a personal discussion between him, the coach, the captain, and the selection committee. If they have not selected him for this particular tournament, then it means that he has already given them the message. The only reason we talk about Dhoni is because we don't think Rishabh Pant is good enough to take that mantle. This situation was always inevitable. If he was around, then we would say a few youngsters are not getting a chance. And now the fact that he is not around, then we go on to say that are the youngsters experienced enough to take that mantle? Either way, we have decided that we are not going to leave him alone. We are so worried that why hasn't he officially called it off? I don't think that's a requirement that a sports player has to officially call it off to not be considered for future selection, because all this is pure semantics. It just shows that he has influenced individuals so much that his absence physically and on digital platforms irks us so much. In a very simple, straightforward way, this particular individual has done his job. He was part of the team for 15 years and he has fulfilled that obligation. Because we may go as far as to call cricket a religion and all those terms, but eventually it is just a job that has to be done over a period of time. And if this individual feels that they have done the job they were supposed to do over a period of 15 years and that it's time to pass over the baton to other individuals, to younger individuals who will take the team forward for the next decade, then I think that's a very fair assessment on this individual's part, and we got no right to assume either way. Whatever will be the communication between this person and the coach, the captain, and the selection committee is a personal, private discussion. And if and when the time comes, they will reveal whether this individual has called it a day or not. Till that time, we will keep on speculating. It's an irony because we question this person's ability during the World Cup, and when he is not around, when he has moved on, as we all do from sports or any other profession, we are still hung over by his performances in the World Cup and tournaments prior to that. And if age was really a factor in sports, then a Mahesh Bhupati and a Leander Pace would have moved on. So would have a Vishwanathan Anand, because Mahesh Bhupati and Leander Pace are 45 years old respectively and Vishwanathan Anand is 50, and yet they are still playing their respective sport. Yes, the demands of the sport may be different, but eventually it's a sport and age has become such an important factor. And then we have this discussion, can Virat Kohli win a championship for the team and for himself? With the 20 over World Cup just over 13 months away, and the way the respective cricket boards have scheduled the matches, that is, they have put the 20 over matches at a pedestal in light of what is to happen next year, and we want India to win. The question is, every country wants their respective country to win. So at this point, especially in a 20 over World Cup, it may be 13 months away, but at this point of time, every team is on an equal pedestal. And we love one term, audition. So as of right now, whatever matches happen with respect to next year's 20 over World Cup, the performances of individuals are going to be analyzed in minutiae. And when it comes to audition, it's the same old debate of the middle order muddle, which I disagree. But let's presume what will be the best 11 for the next match this Wednesday. For me, the openers will be Rohit Sharma and one between Shreyas Iyer, Manish Pandey and KL Rahul. Rishabh Pant at number 3, Kohli at number 4, the Pandya brothers at 5 and 6. Then the all-rounders in Washington Sundar, Ravindra Jadeja. Then the fast bowlers in Deepak Chahar, Navdeep Saini and Khalil Ahmed. So you must be wondering who missed out. Yes, you already know who I have eliminated from the playing 11, and it is none other than Shikhar Dhawan. And this is a strong middle order. You have Pant, Kohli and the Pandya brothers along with the spinning all-rounders in Kunal Pandya, Washington Sundar and Ravindra Jadeja. Cannot have a better team than this. But will weather play a spoil sport again this Wednesday? By the looks of the weather report, it seems we are going to have a full and a proper match. And as I said, the 20 over World Cup is open, though I question the veracity to have two 20 over matches in the space of 6 months, because the International Cricket Council made the same error when they had two matches in 2009 and 2010. So this is not the first time they have scheduled two matches in the space of a year. This also means that the respective T20 domestic championships like the Indian T20 Domestic Championship, the Big Bash League, which is the Australian version, will give the selectors of the respective countries a chance to look at new players who can have an impact, and especially in Australia. And do you remember this individual called Ashton Turner? After he made 80 runs of 44 balls earlier this year in a 50 over tournament with India, he disappeared. He was not even part of the 50 over World Cup team for Australia, though everyone got excited about his talent, but the Australian selectors did not see in the same light as the rest of the world. So he will be hoping for a chance to be a part of the 20 over World Cup in Australia. And remember, Australia has never won a 20 over World Cup. The only teams to have won the 20 over World Cup are India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, England, and the West Indies. So Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa will be looking for their first 20 over championship. We have to remember that we have come a long way since the inaugural 2007 20 over championship, where for us everything was new. It was a novel experience, and now 12 years later we think that we are 20 over experts as we give importance to statistics like strike rate and the number of 50s or 30s one has. So for each team, the next 12 months will become important as the hype surrounding this particular World Championship increases exponentially month by month, day by day, and minute by minute. So my question last week was, would the final result of the Ashes end as 3-1 or 2-all? And England did right by themselves, as this particular Ashes tournament ended on a result of 2-all. Though Australia retained the Ashes by virtue of winning the last match, England did not go down without a fight. Both teams fought till the last moment. Neither of the teams had an upper hand, because when you have players like Jofra Archer, Patrick Cummins, Mitchell Stark in your team as fast bowlers, and to help them are the all-rounders in Ben Stokes, Mitchell Marsh, Sam Curran, as well as the greatest fast bowler England has ever had in Stuart Broad. No way the England team was going to surrender, unlike the past where they would surrender even if they had a lead. And this means that Joe Root, as the captain, gets a third shot at the Ashes when they play Australia in 2021, by which time the World Test Championship would have concluded and we would have new Test World Champions along with 20 over champions. You look at how Australia rotated and rested their bowlers, and when teams like Australia do this, we call it rotation and resting. But if on the other hand this is done by the Indian team, we call it that the team cannot have 11 players who play without chopping and changing. So for Australia it is resting, and for India it is in the extremes of chopping and changing. Think about this. Australia dared to rest Mitchell Stark. In fact, he played one match. Would India do this with any of their fast bowlers? Imagine if Ishant Sharma out of 5 matches plays one in the entire tournament. Imagine the uproar it would bring among the media and other individuals. How dare they play Ishant Sharma or Mohammad Shami for one match, and why give opportunities to others who are not good enough? Let's say, for example, Umesh Yadav and Bhuvneshwar Kumar. So for the test series against South Africa, I want India to follow the same philosophy that Australia followed by giving a chance to all the fast bowlers, and if it means chopping and changing, then so be it. But I am disappointed that the selectors decided that Hardik Pandya is not good enough to play the test matches and he is not part of the team. When at a time when our obsession with past all-rounders does not finish, why don't we give a chance to the current crop? And why only Ben Stokes as a great all-rounder? Why do we doubt the fact that Hardik Pandya can't do what Ben Stokes has done? And why can't Pandya, along with Mitchell Marsh and Dile Felkuvayo from South Africa, can be crowned as great all-rounders? Because what is the definition of an all-rounder? And how can the emergence of 20 overs make an impact as to how individuals perceive itself the definition of all-rounders? Why in this regard can't we move on? Whatever happened in the past, happened in the past. For me, the great all-rounders as of now at this present moment are Ben Stokes, Hardik Pandya, Colin the Grandhomme, Jimmy Neesham, Andile Flekuvayo, and Mitchell Marsh. They're all in their mid 20s, means they have another 10 years left in them. And now it depends how the selectors respect them. Look at Mitchell Marsh was not part of the 50 over World Cup, but he got a chance in the last match and he performed well. So for me, Hardik Pandya has to be the part of the test team. We cannot go into this rhetoric as to who is a good all-rounder, whether he can emulate his performances in the test matches. This is all speculation. The Indian Cricket Board had already messed up the career of Irfan Pathan. We cannot mess up the career of Hardik Pandya by deciding that he can only play 20 overs and 50 overs and not 5-day matches, because this kind of interpretation and the message it sends is negative. Injury cannot be a factor because he got a 1 month break. So we need to shed this format divide, and one hopes that the selectors will see reason and look at their mistakes on not selecting Pandya, because he will be very useful. Since the Australia tour, he has already missed out on 6 matches. We cannot put him in the same situation again where he feels that I am not good enough to play this format. Even Ben Stokes would have felt the same, but the selectors, the captain, the coach gave him the green signal to do what he does best. He was given the time to develop himself and he did exactly that. And that is how a Hardik Pandya will be developed, unless there is some other excuse. The decision not to put him in the test team was a blunder, but the decision has been made. He is thought to be not good enough to be part of the test team, even the squad of 17 players. That's like saying that a Harmanpreet Singh from the hockey team does not score goals as his more illustrious counterparts do it. Will you drop him? No, you cannot drop a Mandeep Singh, Akashdeep Singh from the team. But unlike cricket, there is a rolling substitute in hockey, so eventually all the players who are part of the squad get a chance. So in hockey, we have 11 playing and 4 substitutes, and these 4 substitutes are rotated strategically by the coach. There will be a few important tournaments in hockey, but as they come, we will talk about them. Before we sign out of part 1, let's talk about India's performance against Qatar in the World Cup qualifiers. It was a goalless draw, and the goalkeeper Gurpreet Singh Sandhu was on fired, the way he made sure that the balls were not going to pass him, and he has been given the moniker the Great Wall of India. If I was the manager of any of the teams like Liverpool, Manchester United, or any of the foreign football leagues, I would have put this player Gurpreet Singh Sandhu in my radar. Means if I was looking for a goalkeeper, then I would have selected him in my team and then given him a chance to play against top teams and top players, that whether can he defend a goal against the like of Messi and Neymar, and how will he survive the environment of over 60,000 people in a football stadium, which unfortunately we do not see in India. You will never see a full house as far as a football tournament is concerned in India, and that is a matter of shame. Even the match against Qatar, despite India's performance and despite all the hype created by the media, the stadium was not even 1/4 full. And the way the ads are coming up and way these ads are influencing us as far as the UEFA League and other such tournaments are concerned, where they have come out with a campaign that Sona Mana Hai, which means that we have an ad where an individual does not watch a Champions League match and he is shunned by the rest of his co-workers. Once again, the question is football only about Mohamed Salah, Messi, Ronaldo and the rest of the non-Indian players, or is it about Anirudh Thapa, Sandesh Jhingan or Gurpreet Singh Sandhu? Will we have the same amount of respect we have for the foreign players? The jersey of the Indian team itself is an indication as to how we perceive football in this country. The quality of the jersey is of such atrocious quality. It seems even worse than the jersey you would wear for a football match in your school. You just named a stand after Virat Kohli. Why not do the same for hockey players or for football players? Why not have the same felicitation ceremony for Bhaichung Bhatia, Sunil Chhetri and the rest of them? And why do we need to presume that the Indian Cricket Board should be the one to revive the other sports association? Why can't the other sports association get the same respect from the sponsors as the Indian Cricket Board gets when it comes to sponsorships and lucrative deals? This kind of hypocrisy and double standards need to go. The fact that we were happy with a goalless draw shows how much the respect we have for Indian football, where this sport stands as a whole, where international football, that is the World Cups and the domestic leagues are concerned. By sheer talent, India should be a part of the football World Cup, but by some strange ranking, the fact that we are ranked beyond 100, we cannot be a part. So we have to struggle and we have to play qualifiers after qualifiers to qualify for this particular tournament. Cricket might be a good sport, but it's not even played in 1/4 of the Asian countries. Asia does not begin and end with Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan. China does not play cricket, neither does Japan, neither does the Koreas, nor do the Middle East or the West Asian countries. Even get through the door of the World Cup has been made so complicated because the football infrastructure has only been revived over the past 6 or 7 years, and before that it was nowhere to be found. Instead of bickering over whether I-League is a better football domestic tournament or is it ISL, the solution would have been to pool in both the resources of this tournament and produce players who one day can not only play in the domestic leagues of other countries, but they can also play as a country in the World Cup. The first thing we need to do is dismantle the current football stadium and renovate it as per international standards. Means a stadium of a capacity no less than 60,000 should be the norm. The media and the fans can only do so much, but it has to come from the administration side, and unless they understand this, we will never have an ad campaign which says that watch a football tournament which has India in it. The respective broadcasters too need to step up their attitude and change it. Otherwise, it will be the story of Indian football, so near yet so far. Thank you for listening to episode number 113. This brings an end to this episode. I will be back on Wednesday, same time, same place, and the same network. Good night and have a great week.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Please send your valuable suggestions through your comments and audio recording to the email ID adityatherewriter@gmail.com. You can also like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and Facebook page, and stay tuned for the next episode.